Hello again, Cougar Academy, Algebra 2. Welcome to lesson 1.5. How do you solve multiple step equations and how do you solve for different variables? The first part is mainly review, solving each equation. We did a little bit of this in 1.3 and 1.4. Just remember, when you're solving equations, you want to keep everything balanced. So again, maybe just a little review here for you. 2 minus, we're going to distribute the 3. 3 minus 21 x equals 146. We're going to combine the like terms here of the 2 and negative 3. So that's negative 1 minus 21x equals 146. Okay, add the 1 over. So 147, negative 21x, and then divide. Okay. Negative 21. So 147 divided by negative 21. Boom, negative 7 is the result. Okay, so we call it multiple steps because, okay, not only are we distributing, but now we're doing a little bit of combining like terms first. Really, it's just another extension of yesterday's stuff. So number 2, this one here, distribute first. So 9a minus 9 plus 2a equals negative 86. I'm going to combine these like terms. So it's 11 minus 9 was negative 86. Adding 9, negative 86 plus 9, negative 77. It's going to give us 11a divided by 11. And a is negative 7. Okay, so that is the idea there. 2 more of these. So distribute 6p plus 24 equals 4 plus p. Might have to do some other strategies. So we're going to subtract p. So that's 5. We're going to also subtract the 24. It's negative 20. And then divide by 5. P is equal to negative 4. Boom, 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 boom. And last one for these examples, negative 20n minus 20 is equal to negative 2 minus 2n. What do you think we should do next? Well, I personally am going to add 20n. Okay, that's just going to make my n's positive. Again, you might have subtracted 2. It's okay. I'm also going to subtract or add 2 to the negative 20 to make it negative 18. Then when I divide, I get n is equal to negative 1. No matter which way you do it, you should get the same answer. So had you instead added 2 and gone from there, you would get the same result. Okay. The trickier stuff today is solving equations for indicated variables. So notice there are no numbers, okay? So you're like, oh my, really? It's going to be okay. Your answers are just going to look a little funky. So just take your time. It'll be all right. All right, so we're solving each equation for the indicated variable. This is helpful for like formulas. Say you have area equals length times width, and you want to solve for W. Okay, say we want to know what the width is. Well, we can find that by simply dividing by the length, and that just means that W is equal to A over L. Okay, so solving for A. That just means when we have our equation here, whatever isn't A, we just want to move it. So we are going to but we want to move the b and the k over. So just think of it as if these were numbers, I would be subtracting both of those. So we're going to subtract b and subtract k from u. What that means is that u minus b minus k is equal to a. And that's really it, okay? You might even have it in a little different order. Commutative property, would also allow it to be u minus k minus b. Okay, as long as you have this in some capacity, that is the result solved for a. All right, so I like to highlight first the variable I'm solving for. I'm solving for a in number 6. All right, so here we're dealing with multiplication. All right, so we're multiplying by this k. Well, in order to get a by itself, I'm going to want to then divide by k. Now, we have this whole side we're dealing with, so we want to divide everything by k. So a is equal to the quantity all over k. Preferably, please do emphasize that v plus w is in parentheses. So you should have those parentheses. That makes me happy in that case. So a is equal to the quantity of those divided by k. What it's not, so let me just show you the little thing that it's not, this little skull crossbones. A is not equal to v over k plus w, okay, because you have to distribute it to both. Okay, so that's why it's a little important there. 7, a plus c equals d minus r for a. So simply, this is what I want. I'm going to subtract c. That means a is simply d minus r minus c. Okay, and that's it. Just subtracting c from each side. Number 8. This time solving for x. So I have x here. The first thing, we're going to do opposite of PEMDAS. So we actually want to subtract the p and add the n over. It doesn't necessarily what order you do those in. Okay, but notice first we have z minus p plus n is equal to mx. Now we can divide by m. And again, it's this whole quantity. So we have 3 things in this numerator all over m is equal to x. Okay, most preferably that's how you can write it. All right, so just take your time and get used to different variables instead of numbers. Okay, solving for x, it looks again scary. Don't let it bother you though. We're just subtracting n. We're going to add a p and we're going to add an m. So it's z minus n plus p plus m equals x. And there's no things to combine really. That's just it. And this one here, solving for a. Little curveball. Here's one of the most challenging ones for today. We'll get you through. First, so we're solving for a, and notice it's in the denominator. And we're going to fix that a little bit later. First, let us subtract r and add d. So g minus r plus d is equal to c over a. Okay. Now, the fix here, a is in the denominator, okay, and we need to move c over here. So really, the easiest way to do this is to multiply each side by, first we're going to multiply by a. Okay. Now what that's going to do is, actually we can multiply by the reciprocal a over c, but I just want to show you this here. So multiplying by a, okay, and don't distribute, that's just going to make it a times the quantity g minus r plus d is equal to c. Now it's tempting to distribute, but don't do that just yet. Okay, so the a over 1, it's like a reciprocal They cancel each other out. Now, we don't want to distribute because then we're just going to have to undistribute. So from here, we're just going to divide by this big old quantity, G minus R plus D, which means that A is equal to C over G minus R plus D. Here, it's important that the denominator is in parentheses. Now, I know you might be like, what just happened? Again, go back, watch it a little slower if you need to. The main idea is if you're solving for something that's in the denominator, you're going to want to take the reciprocal at some point. Okay, so it's tempting just to switch everything, but you do want to have this whole quantity in the denominator. So that's the trickiest type for those there. Okay, take your time, especially with those ones, and practice, and good luck, guys.